Hi, my name is Zach. I'm a Christo-pagan, and I want to share my thoughts on missionaries. Now, when I say missionaries, I'm specifically speaking about those from the Christian faith, those who go out into the world and share the gospel message of Jesus Christ, so that way those people might earn salvation. And the reason that I'm wanting to talk about it is because um, recently, actually, just yesterday, a friend of mine the day before, so this was Saturday night, I got a message from my friend who is learning to be a missionary. I actually met him in college, which college I went to learn to be a missionary myself. Um, but he messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm going to be speaking at this church, which is in your area. It'd be great if you could swing by." So, this friend, I only get to see him maybe once a year if I'm lucky. And, the church was only an hour away from where I live. So I was like, yeah, of course, I'm going to go see him. And I go and I listen to what he and his wife have to, say about what they're doing and, their ministry and all that stuff. And I went there with a mindset of let's listen to what they have to say. Don't get angry at what they have to say. They're doing what they believe the divine wants them to do. They're doing what they believe is right. But it just made me angry. It made me frustrated. Not even necessarily at them, but just at the whole industry of missionaries. And some people I'd be like, oh, it's not an industry. It is. It is an industry. But, um, but yeah, they're talking about their things, what they're doing, and so it just brought up a lot of feelings inside of me, and I've got to talk about it with somebody. So these people, I'm not going to out the mission organization or anything like that, but this particular mission organization, they are working in Alaska, and they go all over the state. Um, but essentially, they are ministering to indigenous peoples in Alaska, and it made me really angry because sitting there listening to what they're talking about, it's just colonization. And I have spent probably the good part of a year now trying to deconstruct my own white colonial mindset that has been instilled in me, essentially from the time of my birth. I have been doing my best to, whenever I find an indigenous creator on TikTok, I follow them, and I do my best to always watch their videos. I don't always do it, but I do my best to learn about the people whose land I am living on, because that's the very least I can do is learn about their culture and respect it. And uh, and of course, in my case, being a Christo-pagan, adopting paganism into my own faith, I I I have tried to um, glean wisdom from what they have to teach. And not I'm not trying to appropriate their culture. I'm just trying to glean the wisdom that I can gain from it. So, in general, I very much dislike missionaries. I dislike missions. Now, there is some stuff that's good. They are bringing food and aid to people who need it. They are bringing, like I said, food, medicine, doctors, all that kind of stuff. They are bringing into these areas that are inaccessible by road or, really any other way aside from aircraft. So they're going into these areas and they are bringing in much needed aid. The problem the problem is that they are also, while they say they are trying to help preserve their culture, they're still trying to get churches started. They're trying to essentially erase their religion. their spirituality. They are trying to, at the very best, create a Christianity that might, somewhat fit, create a Christianity that appropriates their culture into it and then feed it back to them, so that way they don't feel like they have their culture stripped from them. But the fact of the matter is that you change their religion, you change their culture. Plain and simple. And while, I understand that evangelicals believe that, if you're not a Christian, you will go to hell and you will burn for eternity. I don't believe that. I don't believe that a loving God would do that. So even if Christianity is the true religion or whatever, I really don't think that if that God is real, that he would, send people to burn. And if he does, that's not a God worth worshiping. And that's really what it boils down to. It's like, I'm fine with all the humanitarian stuff. I'm fine with that. But the whole thing of spreading your particular religion and saying you have to follow this in order to be saved from eternal damnation, it angers me so much. And it's really hard to talk about this with anyone aside from, say, my wife, who of course knows about all my spiritual practices and everything, and believes very similar to me. It's hard to talk about this stuff because this whole area that I live in is filled with Protestant evangelical Christians who believe that we should be sending missionaries out, who believe that there is a hell that we'll burn in if we are not saved. And so it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that there is so much hate and so much just maliciousness. And this is supposed to be a religion that's based on fucking love. That's based on everyone having value. At least that's how it started. But it's fallen away from that. It has fallen away from that, and it makes me mad. It makes me sad. It just makes me disappointed. So, to any of my missionary friends who may be seeing this, I don't know if any of you guys still watch this or not. I will love and support you. I will pray for you. But just know, I do not support what you are doing. At least not the spiritual part of things. I do not support the stripping of culture that you do. And I'm not going to try and convince you that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, because I know you are convinced that is what you are supposed to do. And I can't blame you necessarily. But yeah, this it just makes me really angry.